And that's, I think that's what the mayor's saying is
what she's saying is if the ordinance passed tonight,
no, I'm saying don't worry about the ordinance. I'm saying let's talk about something different to address this one issue, because, you know, Councilman Myers, you, with all due respect, I mean, you mentioned we need to be responsive to the businesses. Well, this is the only business that's before us right now. Nobody else has had any concerns about any of this.
I disagree.
Okay.
Being said.
And who are they?
Who are they? They're not willing to come forward. They don't want to be put through the ridicule that you're obviously trying to do here. What I think you need to look to do, you got 2 readings on this. You asked Mr. McKenzie and Farm Bureau to provide engineering specifications on the room. I think that's what I heard Skip say. So between first reading and second reading, then I think they come back and we can have their engineer here, or they can provide the documentation you need. If council wants to make this an annual inspection of the Farm Bureau, then I think it needs to be the city's responsibility to either have the building code official or the fire inspector do the inspection on the room to be sure it still meets the standards. And I'm sure Farm Bureau or anyone else would comply with providing whatever information you need to help that process. But to ask him to come and apply for a variance every year, that just seems to be a little bit much on business to me.
Changing this ordinance is a little bit much.
Well, you got the right to disagree. I mean, that's fine. But I'm saying is, you know, we need to make sure that we're going into this thing right. Okay? And just as soon as the word get out that we pass ordinance, changing our smoking thing, and someone else is going to say, well, I got a smoking room. Who can say whether they got a smoking room or not? So, in other words, it's just about like that.
and that's one of the things that I think it's very important that this council do is if you're going to allow for these, you do need to have some specifications or some standards established so that they meet those. And that's basically what I've come to this evening is to request that you look at doing that so that those people that have done the right things in the past can continue to do those.
Well, I know you got a motion on the table. I'd like to make a counter motion that we postpone this until we get information back before we go into.
Thank you. Danny? You might help us here.
Anybody's mentioned or not, but these smoking areas here are 3 or 4 decks up, stories up in the air, which you get, I would think, more circulation of your air up there than you would on the ground level. Is that correct?
Well, outside. But we're mostly talking about the indoor room. The outside is already covered under ours. It's fine. We have 2 questions, I think, on the table. One, from a while back, from Councilman Jenkins, was asking about recusal. Is that what you were? Does that apply in this situation?
What is the question?
Would there be a need for a recusal in this situation?
Whether a council member has a conflict under the rules of ethical conduct under the state code is determined by that individual council member. The rule is that no one else can call a conflict on a member, including presiding officer. And this is not only my opinion, but the Municipal Association's How to Conduct Effective Meetings quotes from an Attorney General's opinion. On page 13 of the publication says it is not the responsibility of the mayor, council, board, commissioner, presiding officer to invoke a disqualification under either the Ethics Act or the Home Rule Act. The presiding officer may not prohibit members from voting on the issue. It is the responsibility of a member who has a conflict to comply with the laws. So, to answer Councilmember Jenkins' question, it's not my place to say whether anybody has a conflict. It's not anyone else's place to say. It's up to the individual council member, because they're the ones who would be responsible for complying with the act.
Yeah. Okay. Then I had to do it because we up here with CNC. And y'all give me a piece of paper to sign, to excuse myself and not even take a vote.
because I work for CMC. So, who's right or wrong?
He's right or wrong about what, Mr. Gaines?
About excusing, okay? Y'all made me excuse, trying to give it a paper.
I don't know who you mean by y'all made me.
Well, okay, the law. Johnny and Sammy, Florida, for me to excuse myself of voting on the issue from CMC. And I work for CMC. So I had to excuse myself.
Well, I guess that was, I don't know, I don't recall the specific situation you're talking about, but I would, if that were the situation, then I guess you determined that there would have been a conflict if you had voted on that issue because it would have been in the economic interest of a business with which you were associated.
Well, if I had decided that, then I'd have made it out of printed paper. The paper was already typed up for me, so someone else decided that for me.
It's a form.
Yeah, it's a form.
What was the issue, Skip? I don't recall what the issue was.
Yeah.
Well, that is in the economic interest of the company by which you're employed. That's why I read from that book, because I thought you might have some problems with what I said, but I read from another publication that also had the same opinion.
Okay, so the second question is, Councilman Jenkins just made a counter motion. Can you walk us through procedurally? He made a motion to postpone until we can get further information about the signs.
That would be a motion to table, it would be in order, it requires a second. It's not debatable, it's not amendable. It requires a second, however.
Okay, so is anybody willing to make a second on, can you repeat your motion?
I make a kind of motion that we postpone this ordinance until we get scientific information on this proposed rule. I still make the point, Steve.
No, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I don't think you have a second.
Excuse me, I'm presenting to you. I'll send you a second. Okay, no second for making a motion to wait until we get further information about the scientific information on that room.
My point is you can get
Okay,
that between
then-
first and second.
One second. Councilman Myers, please, 1 minute. Okay, so we have no second, that motion fails. Okay, so we're back to discussion on the original motion, which means we're back to the
Call for a question.
amendments. Does anybody have any other questions on the amendments? Okay, then I'll call for the question on approving of an ordinance amending the Cayce City Code, Chapter 35, smoking in places of employment. This is the first reading.
Mr. Isom. Mr. Jones. Mr. Jenkins. Ms. Myers. Ms. Mayor.
No. So moved.